ladies and gentlemen. They are talking about another stimulus, but limiting giving it to people that make 40,000 a year or less. So, ladies and gentlemen, one thing about America, when it comes down to giving, this place is a disgrace. It really is. You know, I don't think they should be doing this to anyone. This is not the time to be a tightwad. But, believe me, this is taxpayer money. Some of these politicians like Mitch McConnell, they talk like this is their personal bank account that the money's going to come out of. Your ass wouldn't be sitting in that position if it wasn't for the American people paying your damn salary. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to this. So this came out on CNBC, July 9th, 2020. Fewer Americans may get a second stimulus check. What we know about the next round of payments, which is not enough. $1,200, that is an insult. This is not enough. Unfortunately, you made America very unaffordable to live in. So if anything happens to jobs, people are really at an automatic disadvantage in many cases. So, ladies and gentlemen, another batch of one-time stimulus checks could be coming, and this should be ongoing, not no damn one-time. The way they are doing this is a complete disgrace. But like I said, expect a lot of civil unrest in America. It is coming soon. You have to be a fool not to see it coming. You definitely got to be a fool. Okay, but this time fewer Americans could get it. President Donald Trump has made it clear that he wants to include another batch of checks in the next coronavirus legislation. But Senate Republicans have been slow to warm to the idea. One reason, the high cost of cutting American checks to Americans. That's a lame excuse. You cut checks for every damn thing else. Now, Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell is considering a compromise, dispersing funds to people making $40,000 or less a year. The new threshold would dramatically reduce the number of Americans eligible for checks. That would help the GOP keep the new spending package to about $1 trillion. Okay. Congress is poised to consider the issue when it returns later this month. At that time, it will also consider whether or not to continue giving unemployed Americans an additional $600 per week in unemployment benefits. The first round of stimulus payments was authorized by Congress with a $2 trillion CARES Act. The stimulus checks amounted to about $300 billion of that spending. The U.S. government spent about $160 million payments worth $269 billion. All right. So those $1,200 payments went to individuals making up to $75,000 and couples earning up to $150,000 a year. The amount was reduced incrementally for incomes up to $99,000 for individuals and $198,000 for couples, above which was completely phased out. In a CNBC interview on Thursday, Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin declined to comment on the proposed $40,000 threshold. We do support another round of economic impact payments, Mnuchin said. The level and criteria will be discussed with the Senate. Though a $40,000 cap would leave millions of Americans out in the cold. It would trigger a segment of the population that has been hard hit by the crisis. In March, 40% of households making less than $40,000 a year lost their jobs, according to the data from the Federal Reserve. And some low income individuals and families have proven difficult to reach. If they do not typically file tax returns or receive federal benefits, they may not be on the US government's radar. As many as 12 million people are still at risk of not receiving even their first stimulus check for that reason, according to research from the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities. It's right that we should target people at lower incomes. Chris Cox, a senior tax policy analyst, but we need to make sure they're actually able to receive their payments. Chuck Marr, director of the Federal Tax Policy at the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, said it is really heartening that McConnell identified the problem that low-wage workers had been hit hardest. Still, there are other areas in which the government should focus first, Marr said, including making sure there's a robust unemployment insurance, adequate supplemental assistance programs, benefits for people who need food, and shore up state and local government budgets. That's the things you really want to emphasize, Marr said. Well, we shall see what they come up with, y'all. And, whatever they come up with, you got to understand these senators and Congress people, their lives haven't changed. They're still getting their same salary and living their same overprivileged lives, and they don't have to worry about the rest of us. So don't be surprised if this next package will be to the point where very few people will be eligible for it. And as far as the $600, it'll be a miracle if they renew that. I think they are at the point where they're really, they're going to pull the carpet from under a lot of people's feet. And like I said, if this thing goes on long term, which I'm believing it will with coronavirus, they're going to have a problem in this country. They're going to have a serious problem. People are not going to be silent when they don't have the means to take care of themselves. And you got a limited amount of people holding the purse strings, and they're being all stingy and everything. And, and you hear about all of these other countries where they gave their people monthly checks and didn't have a problem doing it. But here in the quote unquote richest nation on the earth, they got a problem with that, y'all. They do. They got a major problem with that. But if you look at the inception of America, America was never about helping the citizens. It never was. So why would we think it's going to be that way now? Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.